Hi, this is Tim Sanders, founder of the Omnia Radiation Balancer brand. Listen, I know it's really confusing when you're picking your EMF protection product. You hear lots of jargon and you don't know who to trust. But this is going to be an incredibly important few minutes for you and your family's health. On this page, I'm giving you our 4 best reasons to trust us at Omnia, to trust us to harmonize all the radiation fields in your life. Further down this page, you'll find a special offer on all our products that you won't find anywhere else. So don't close this browser until you've taken advantage of it. And in this video right now, I'm going to share with you 4 test results that show that our products are bringing massive benefits to your body. The point is this: once you truly harmonize all the EMF in your life, your body will respond well. So if we can measure this, you know that our products are effective. So let's get into it. This first test is something that you can do at home and it will surprise you. Have you ever tried or heard of muscle testing, known as applied kinesiology? It's a way of using the body's strength, its electrical balance, to tell you whether your body likes something or not. If it likes something, it stays strong, but if it doesn't, it goes weak. Have a look at this muscle test with a phone. Hi, so there's many different ways to do a muscle test. So this one we're going to do standing up. And what I'd like you to do, Petra, if you don't mind, is turn around so that your back's to me and then knit your hands. So Petra's hands are literally knitted like that, so that creates a little ball. And the arms are straight and she's upright like this. Now this isn't a strength test. What we're doing is we're finding the focal point inside here, which is the focal point of her resistance. Which represents the whole balance in the body. So if I push down into that, then I'm going to try and find her resistance point. And you see, if I let go, she bounces back up because we've found that resistance point. And we need to remember that so that we can do it in the second test when we put the phone into her pocket. So now we're going to take a phone which doesn't have the Omnia Radiation Balancer on it, and we're going to put it in Petra's pocket. And we're just going to do the same test to see if there's any difference in the alignment and the strength. So I'm going to push down. Right. Yeah, so you can see immediately when I push down there, instead of the resistance, she was falling backwards. And when she falls backwards, I also fall backwards with her. So just going to do that one more time. Yeah. So Petra, how did that feel when I pushed down there?
There was a lot less balance. There wasn't a straight line there, it's just kind of zigzagged.
Right, yeah. So the resistance is not quite there, it's not quite as strong because you're pushing down into that focal point and your whole body then gives us a yes or a no, effectively. It says, yes, I do like this, or no, I'm not so sure. Okay, so now we're going to do the third test. We're going to take the phone and we're going to put the Omnia Radiation Balancer on, which meets all the radiation and it brings it to a centeredness and balance and harmony. And we're going to see if there's any difference in Petra's strength and her alignment. So that's now on. Turn around and now I pull down, push down. Ooh. Right, so she's immediately now become aligned, and the explanation for that, in physics terms, is that we've met the radiation field, which is uncentered and imbalanced. We've brought it to a centeredness of 0 point and balance, so that it's in the same vibrational pattern as the electricity in the human body. So there's no longer any dissonance, and for that reason, Petra's body remained nice and strong. So why does this happen? The answer is complex, but you have to understand one thing: that the body is electric, and the vibration of the electromagnetic field radiation, the phone radiation, upsets all the electric currents in the body. This causes weakness or dissonance in your energy field. Basically, your body is intelligent and it says, I don't like this, in a muscle test with a phone. Try it at home if you want. But the bottom line is, we want strong bodies when we're holding our phones, right? Next up, we have the water structure test. What we do is we hold a phone with a 5G signal next to water for 5 minutes. Then we use a technique developed by Dr. Emoto in Japan to freeze the water and look at its crystalline structure. The baseline water, with no exposure to EMF, looked like this. You can see some crystals formed and it's good, clean water. The water affected by the 5G looked like this. You can see no structure,
the molecule is just about destroyed. But when we put the Omnia sticker onto the phone and held it next to the water felt the new balanced vibration, and it organised itself into crystalline hexagonal structure, like a snowflake. Now this is good news for your body because your body is over 70% water. And it's actually the areas in the body with the highest water content that are the most badly affected by EMF, like the brain, the gut, or in women it can be the breasts. Higher water content in the body equals higher risk. So if the water can be nicely structured in your body, that's a good thing. Next we have live blood analysis. This is where we analysed 3 samples of my blood. The first sample is the baseline, where I turned everything off overnight, and it looked like this.
As we move around the baseline sample, we can start to get an impression of the interaction of the red blood cells. Generally, what we're looking for is an overall impression from the sample as we move around it. And we can see that there are large areas where the red blood cells are separate from each other. Generally, we can sense here that there are fairly substantial tracts and areas where the red blood cells sit separately from each other. They're residing in their own space. There are certainly areas where some stick together. The majority of the areas that we look at, like this, show the red blood cells in their own space, with the plasma around them.
Good blood should look like perfect donuts, each in their own space. The second sample was taken after I'd watched a video for 20 minutes holding a phone in my hand, and it looked like this.
When we moved the camera around the sample after Tim had been using the phone without the sticker on, straight away we see that the red blood cells are much more adherent. They're sticking to each other much more. What we might refer to as rouleau is present. We can see that wherever we go in the sample, there simply isn't a visibility of red blood cells residing in their own space. They're much more chained and sticking to each other. So we're moving on to another observation here of this same sample. And again, I mean, we see the odd patch where there may be some separation, but generally speaking, everywhere we go, we see adherent red blood cells sticking to each other.
You see the difference? What you see is called rouleau syndrome. Now what we know is that the electrical balance of the blood has been compromised. The cells are stressed basically, and they clump together. And lastly, when I put the Omnia sticker on the phone and did the same test, the sample went back to this.
Now, when we move on to the sample taken after the shield had been applied to the phone, again we move around the sample and we're back to seeing a situation where, although there is some adherence, the general picture is one of red blood cells residing much more in their own space. We move around the sample so that we can get a sense of the overall picture, and yes, there are rouleaued areas. This is a human being's blood, and there are other factors other than the phone that affect that situation. So some of the red blood cells here are adhered, but unlike in the previous sample, we can see large tracts and large areas where they're not. They actually sit in their own space.
Most of the sample has returned to its original balance and good shape, and we want balanced blood when we're using our wireless devices, right? You can see the full version on our website, by the way. This video is just a summary with all the headlines. The fourth test is heart rate variability. We talked about how everything in the body is electric. Well, the heart is the centre of electric current in the body. You've seen this on an ECG. And in our tests, the rhythms of the heart were disrupted by exposure to EMF. So holding a phone can affect the performance of your heart. But these effects were mostly reversed when our products were used. To prove this, here is a certificate from the IGEF, which is an independent specialist in HRV testing of EMF protection products. There is one for our stickers and another one for our pendants. And lastly, I just want to say that we talk to a lot of bioresonance and autonomic response test practitioners who often tell us that when they test a range of products, ours perform the best. So you see, these are all the good reasons to trust Omnia. We want strong bodies, good water structure, balanced blood and stable heart rhythms when we're using our phones and laptops. Surely that's a desirable thing. Now have a look at the other reasons why you can trust us and see our special offer below. We'd love to help you bring balance back to your body, and we'd love to welcome you to the Omnia tribe, so thanks for watching.